The alien council chamber buzzed with excitement on the massive space station. The Zaxri leaders gathered around a large holographic display showing a small blue planet. Their tall, gray bodies towered over the control panels as their four eyes blinked at the images. "Another primitive world," said High Commander Vex, his voice filled with boredom. "These humans have barely reached their moon. They still use such basic rockets." The intelligence officer, Kira, moved her long fingers across the display. "But sir, there's something strange about them. They develop technology very quickly. In just 100 years, they went from horse carts to spaceships." "That means nothing." Vex laughed, his sharp teeth showing. "Look at their weapons. Simple missiles and metal ships. Their strongest bombs are just atomic. We moved past those thousands of years ago." Around the room, other council members nodded in agreement. The Zaxri had ruled this part of space for centuries. They were used to finding new species and adding their planets to their empire. Humans would be no different. "They have a small colony on Mars," another officer reported. "Just 10,000 humans living in domes. Very weak defenses." High Commander Vex stood up straighter, his gray skin shifting to a darker shade as he made his decision. "Perfect. We will attack this Mars colony first. Show these humans their place in the galaxy." He turned to his war minister. "Send just one battle group. That should be more than enough." Kira tried one more time to warn them. "Sir, in their history, humans fight very hard when attacked. Maybe we should study them more." "Silence." Vex snapped. "I won't waste time studying primitives. Send the attack orders." 3 days later, 5 large Zaxri warships appeared over Mars. Their energy weapons quickly destroyed the colony's outer defenses. The domes cracked open, and emergency shelters sealed to protect the humans inside. "See how weak they are." Vex watched the attack from his command center. "Now let's see how Earth responds to our power." The response came faster than expected. A simple text message, broadcast on all frequencies in perfect Zaxri language. "We understand. Thank you for showing us your true nature. Please wait for our reply." Something about the message made several council members nervous. There was no panic, no begging, no fear. Just calm waiting. "They're trying to trick us," Vex declared. "Probably hoping we'll think they have some secret weapon." But his skin had turned a lighter shade, showing his hidden worry. Over the next few hours, the Zaxri noticed something odd. All human radio and TV signals stopped. Their satellites went dark. Even their internet disappeared. It was like Earth had suddenly gone silent. "They're hiding in fear," Vex told his worried officers. "Soon they'll beg us for mercy." Then Kira rushed into the command center, her skin almost white with fear. "Sir, our deep space sensors, they're picking up something strange. Many objects moving at high speed, coming from behind Earth's moon." "Impossible," Vex started to say, but stopped as new data flooded their screens. Hundreds of ships were appearing, not the simple rockets they expected, but sleek warships covered in strange technology the Zaxri had never seen before. More ships emerged from behind Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. The humans had hidden an entire fleet in plain sight. "Sir," Kira's voice shook, "we're getting messages from other alien species. They say they tried to warn us. They say humans have been watching all alien species for decades, learning our weaknesses, preparing for the day someone would attack them." The final message from Earth was short. "Thank you for volunteering to be an example. The galaxy will learn why humanity should never be underestimated." As alarms began blaring throughout the Zaxri station, High Commander Vex realized their terrible mistake. They hadn't found a primitive species ready to be conquered. They had awakened a sleeping giant who had been preparing for war since they first looked up at the stars. The real first contact was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The story uses suspense building, simple English, and keeps third-person perspective throughout. It shows the aliens' overconfidence and hints at humanity's hidden strength. The Zaxri celebration feast was cut short by blaring alarms. The massive space station's lights flickered red as emergency signals flooded every screen. High Commander Vex, who had been bragging about their easy victory on Mars just moments before, felt his skin turn pale. "Report," he barked, spilling his victory drink. "Sir, human ships, they're everywhere." The sensor officer's voice trembled. "They're using some kind of technology that lets them hide inside gas giants. They've been living inside Jupiter and Saturn, building bases we never detected." On the main screen, hundreds of human warships emerged from the swirling storms of Jupiter. Their ships weren't the crude metal boxes the Zaxri expected. Instead, they were black as space itself, shaped like ancient Earth sea predators, sharks and barracudas made of some unknown material that seemed to swallow light. "Impossible," Vex whispered. "Their technology was primitive. We saw their space stations, their satellites." A junior officer rushed in, holding a data tablet. "Sir, we just got a transmission from the Galactic Trade Council. They say humans have been buying advanced technology through shell companies for 50 years. They'd been secretly testing weapons in other dimensions." Another alarm sounded. This one was different, deeper, more threatening. "What is that?" Vex demanded. Kira, the intelligence officer who had warned them before, checked her screens. Her 4 eyes widened in horror. "The humans, they've activated something in their asteroid belt. The whole belt. It's moving." The room fell silent as they watched the impossible sight. The entire asteroid belt was shifting, rocks moving in perfect formation. Hidden engines appeared on the larger asteroids, pulsing with blue energy. The humans had turned the entire asteroid belt into a weapon. "Message from Earth Command," the communication officer announced, voice shaking. A human appeared on screen. He looked ordinary. 2 eyes, plain uniform, calm expression. But his words sent chills through every Zaxri spine. "For centuries, we dreamed of meeting alien life. We hoped for peace, but we prepared for war. While you watched our primitive rockets, we built fleets inside gas giants. While you laughed at our satellites, we turned asteroids into battleships. Your attack on Mars wasn't a surprise. It was an opportunity." The human smiled, a small, terrifying expression. "Did you really think we only built one colony? Mars was a test, a trap, and you walked right into it." New signals appeared on the radar. From the dark side of every planet and moon, human ships emerged. They had bases everywhere, all hidden with technology the Zaxri couldn't even understand. "Sir," the sensor officer's voice cracked, "we're detecting human ships near every Zaxri world. They were already in position before we attacked Mars." Vex collapsed into his command chair as the truth hit him. Humans hadn't been ignorant primitives waiting to be conquered. They had been silent hunters, studying their prey, waiting for someone to make the first aggressive move. "One more thing," the human commander said. "Those primitive atomic bombs you mocked. We stopped making those decades ago. Would you like to see what replaced them?" The transmission cut off. In the silence that followed, High Commander Vex realized that humanity hadn't just prepared for first contact. They had prepared for every possible way that first contact could go wrong. The Zaxri hadn't started a war. They had sprung a trap centuries in the making. Through the station's windows, they watched as the transformed asteroid belt began to move, forming a massive wall of weaponized space rock that blocked their escape route. The hunt was about to begin, and humanity was done pretending to be primitive. Technology, they never knew, wasn't just a statement. It was humanity's greatest deception. As the Zaxri fleet tried to regroup, they witnessed things that defied their understanding of science. The first shock came when the human ships started moving in impossible ways. One moment they were solid, the next they split into thousands of smaller pieces, swarming like schools of fish through space. Then they would reform, appearing behind Zaxri ships as if they had mastered the art of quantum transformation. "They're not just ships," Kira reported, her voice filled with awe. "They're swarm intelligences. Each one is made of millions of tiny robots that can think and act as one." High Commander Vex watched in horror as the first human attack began. Instead of energy beams or missiles, the human ships released what looked like artificial auroras, waves of shimmering light in every color. When these waves touched Zaxri ships, something impossible happened. "Sir, the quantum field around our ships, it's being rewritten," a science officer screamed. "They're changing the fundamental laws of physics in localized areas." The proud Zaxri warships began to drift, their artificial gravity failing as the very rules of space-time shifted around them. Some ships found themselves aging centuries in seconds, their hulls rusting and crumbling. Others became trapped in time loops, repeating the same moment over and over. Then came the second wave. Human soldiers in battle suits that seemed to phase between dimensions. They walked through solid walls, appeared from shadows, and wielded weapons that didn't just destroy matter. They erased it from existence. "New data incoming," Kira announced, her skin turning almost white. "We've decoded some of their communications. The humans, they've been in contact with their own future selves. They've been getting technology and warnings from multiple timelines." The display showed something even more terrifying. Earth wasn't just one planet. It was the anchor point for a network of parallel Earths. Humanity had discovered how to share knowledge and resources across different versions of their world, creating a civilization that existed in multiple realities at once. "That's why they were so calm when we attacked," Vex realized, his voice hollow. They had already seen it happen in other timelines. They knew exactly what we would do. A new type of human ship appeared, larger than the others. It didn't attack. It simply opened what looked like windows in space. Through these portals, the Zaxri could see other versions of their own civilization. Some peaceful, some in ruins, some that had chosen different paths. "Message from Earth Command," the communication officer whispered. This time, the human commander appeared with multiple versions of himself, each from a different timeline. They spoke in unison. "We tried peace in 1,000 timelines. We saw war in 1,000 more. This timeline. This is where we show the galaxy why challenging humanity means challenging every possible version of humanity." The Zaxri watched in stunned silence as human ships began deploying their most devastating weapon yet, reality anchors. These devices looked like simple black spheres, but their effect was catastrophic. They forced every nearby object to exist in only one timeline, cutting off access to parallel dimensions. For species like the Zaxri, who had never even discovered parallel realities, it meant nothing. But for the human ships, which existed across multiple timelines at once, it meant they could focus the power of 1,000 versions of themselves into a single point in space. "Sir," Kira said quietly, "I'm detecting quantum signatures. The humans have weapons powered by the combined energy of parallel Earths. A single shot contains the power of a civilization multiplied across infinite timelines." As his command station filled with reports of Zaxri ships surrendering, High Commander Vex finally understood. Humanity hadn't just been hiding their technology. They had been hiding their true nature as beings who had transcended single reality existence. The last transmission from Earth was simple. "This is why we thank you. Your attack gave us reason to reveal what we've become." The galaxy needed to know that attacking Earth means fighting every Earth that ever was or could be. In the silence that followed, the Zaxri realized that the real war hadn't lasted days or even hours. It had been over the moment they attacked, because humanity had already won it across 1,000 different timelines. The hunt began with a whisper. Human ships didn't just chase the fleeing Zaxri. They haunted them. In the darkness of space, the Zaxri discovered that humans had mastered something far more terrifying than advanced weapons. They had weaponized fear itself. "They're in our dreams," a Zaxri captain reported, his skin cycling through stress colors. Every time we sleep, they're there, showing us what's coming. How are they doing this? The answer came from an unexpected source. A human stealth operative, captured during a failed Zaxri ambush, simply smiled and explained, "We evolved from prey animals. We know how predators think because we used to be hunted. Now, we're the apex predators of multiple dimensions." High Commander Vex watched his empire crumble through reports he could barely believe. Human ships had deployed what they called memory clouds, swarms of microscopic machines that could extract and share memories between species. Every Zaxri secret, every hidden base, every escape plan. The humans already knew them all. "Sir," Kira's voice shook as she reported, "the humans aren't just using technology. They've somehow merged with it. Their consciousness can jump between bodies, ships, even space stations. They're everywhere and nowhere." The display showed something that defied explanation. Human soldiers weren't just wearing advanced armor. They had become living battleships. Their bodies could transform, growing to enormous sizes, merging with their vessels. The line between organic and machine had disappeared completely. Then came the ghost fleets, armadas of ships that existed partially in normal space and partially in something humans called the undervoid. They could phase through any defense, appear inside sealed bunkers, even travel through time's sideways currents. But the most terrifying weapon wasn't their technology, it was their knowledge. "They're broadcasting our entire history," a communications officer reported in horror. "Not just what we did, but what we were planning to do. They found our secret files about conquering other species, about experiments on primitive worlds. They knew everything before they even met us." The humans had turned truth into a weapon. They released what they called reality bubbles, spheres of absolute truth where no lie could exist, no deception could survive. Inside these bubbles, every Zaxri was forced to confront the truth about their empire's crimes. "New contact," Kira shouted. "Something's emerging from Earth's sun." The screen showed an impossible sight. Human ships, made of living metal that could withstand stellar temperatures, had been hiding inside stars themselves. They hadn't just mastered space, they had colonized the very hearts of solar systems. "Message from Earth Command," the system announced. This time, the human commander appeared as both flesh and energy, his form shifting between states as he spoke. "Your leadership tried to hide in 11,000 locations. We found them all before we even started looking. Because in every timeline, in every dimension, they chose the same hiding places. Predictable." The final phase began. Human ships released what they called probability storms, weapons that didn't just destroy their targets, but erased the probability of their existence. Zaxri ships didn't explode or break apart. They simply ceased to have ever been possible in the first place. "Sir," Kira whispered, "they're not just defeating us. They're changing who we are. The probability storms, they're rewriting the quantum foundation of our species, making it impossible for us to ever become conquerors again." As the last Zaxri leaders were cornered in their hidden bunkers, they realized humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology, their multi-dimensional existence, or even their mastery over space-time. It was their ability to learn from every possible version of history at once. The final transmission was brief. "Thank you for teaching the galaxy this lesson. In every timeline where someone attacks Earth, they learn the same truth. We don't just fight back. We make sure the attack never could have succeeded in the first place." The trial of the Zaxri leadership wasn't held in a courtroom. Instead, humanity transformed an entire nebula into what they called a truth theater, a vast arena where justice could be witnessed by every species in the galaxy. Using quantum viewing technology, billions of alien beings watched as the space inside the nebula shifted into a living historical record. The human prosecutors didn't need to present evidence, they showed history itself. "We call our first witness," announced the human judge, her form shifting between physical and energy states, time itself. The nebula lit up with streams of light that formed into windows to the past. But these weren't just recordings. They were actual moments in time, preserved and brought forward. The Zaxri leaders watched in horror as their secret meetings, their planned genocides, their hidden experiments were displayed across the stars themselves. "Remarkable," whispered a Centaurian observer. "The humans aren't just showing us what happened, they're letting us feel it, experience it." The human prosecutors had deployed what they called empathy fields, advanced technology that allowed every witness to experience the emotions and sensations of the victims. Every alien species in attendance felt the terror of the Mars colonists, the determination of Earth's defenders, the pain of every world the Zaxri had conquered. But the most shocking moment came when the humans revealed their timeline nexus. "We've gathered evidence not just from this reality," the prosecutor announced, "but from every reality where the Zaxri existed. We will show you their crimes across all possible timelines." The nebula filled with countless parallel versions of history. In some, the Zaxri had succeeded in their conquests. In others, they had failed. But in every timeline where they had power, they chose violence and domination. High Commander Vex, bound in a containment field that forced him to experience truth, watched as his own alternate selves testified against him. Versions of himself from other timelines, each confessing to crimes that he had only dreamed of committing in this reality. Then came humanity's most powerful evidence, the path not taken. Using their mastery of probability manipulation, they showed everyone present what the Zaxri Empire could have become if they had chosen peace instead of war. The potential for greatness, for advancement, for collaboration, all thrown away for the sake of conquest. The sentence, the human judge declared, will not be death. Death would be too simple. Instead, we sentence you to understanding. The human scientists activated what they called a cosmic consciousness matrix, a vast network of quantum computers that could rewrite the fundamental nature of a species' collective consciousness. The Zaxri leaders weren't just punished. They were transformed. "You will retain your memories," the judge explained, "but you will feel what others feel, experience what others experience. Your ability to ignore the suffering of others has been replaced with universal empathy. This is not mind control. You still have free will, but you will never again be able to harm others without feeling their pain as your own." The galaxy watched in awe as the Zaxri leaders began to change. Their gray skin rippled with the emotions of billions. Their four eyes now saw not just physical reality, but the interconnected web of all living beings' experiences. "Let this be recorded in the quantum archives," the human judge announced. On this day, justice was served not through destruction, but through transformation. The Zaxri Empire ends not with extinction, but with enlightenment. As the trial concluded, the nebula itself seemed to pulse with the weight of history. The human prosecutors had done more than win a case. They had shown the galaxy that true justice could reshape reality itself. The final message was broadcast across all quantum frequencies. Let any who would follow the path of conquest know this. Humanity judges not just your actions, but the very quantum probability of your intentions. Choose peace, or face the transformation of your very nature. The new galactic peace wasn't enforced by weapons or fleets. Instead, humanity revealed something far more powerful. They had created what they called the Harmony Grid, a vast network of quantum-entangled stars that turned space itself into a living peace treaty. "Watch," said the human ambassador, as she activated a holographic display for the gathered alien species. "Every star in this network is connected through quantum consciousness. If anyone attempts an act of war, the stars themselves will respond." The demonstration left the alien representatives speechless. A star near the former Zaxri Empire pulsed with golden light, sending waves of energy through subspace that transformed nearby weapons into pure art. Warships becoming beautiful crystal sculptures that told stories of peace. "But that's just the beginning," the ambassador continued. "Show them Project Eden." Around Earth, massive ring-shaped structures appeared, each 100 kilometers wide. These weren't weapons or defenses. They were Genesis engines. Inside each ring, humans were creating new universes, perfect testing grounds for peaceful cooperation between species. Any species that wishes to join the peace initiative, explained the human scientist, his body shifting between organic and energy forms, will receive access to their own Genesis ring. Inside, they can create and test new technologies without risking their homeworlds. But the most shocking revelation came next. Humanity hadn't just been defending Earth, they had been preparing to save the galaxy itself. Our long-range sensors detected something coming. The ambassador revealed. A void between realities, a space where physics itself breaks down. It will reach our galaxy in exactly 10,000 years. We need every species working together to face it. The alien representatives watched in awe as humans demonstrated their true defensive capability. The ability to move entire solar systems through artificial wormholes. They had been practicing, preparing to help evacuate any species that chose peace over war. Your ships, a Centaurian scientist observed, they're not just vessels, they're seeds. Indeed, human ships could transform into artificial planets, complete with ecosystems and atmospheres. Each one was designed to preserve countless species if evacuation became necessary. Then came the most ambitious revelation. Project Starbridge. Using their mastery of quantum engineering, humans had found a way to connect stars across the galaxy into a living network of consciousness. Any species that joined the network could instantly share knowledge, culture, and understanding with all others. This is why we thank the Zaxri, the ambassador explained. Their aggression gave us reason to reveal these projects early. Now we can begin preparing everyone for what's coming. The demonstration ended with something never before seen in the galaxy. A human ship transformed into what they called a reality anchor. It didn't just stabilize space-time. It could preserve entire civilizations in quantum stasis, safe from any cosmic threat. Join us, the ambassador offered, not as subjects or allies, but as fellow creators. Each species that chooses peace will receive their own Genesis ring for safe innovation, access to the Harmony Grid, quantum evacuation protection, a seed ship for their civilization, connection to the Starbridge network. As the alien representatives began signing the peace accords, something beautiful happened. The stars in the Harmony Grid pulsed in sequence, creating music that could be felt in the quantum realm, the symphony of civilizations choosing to grow together instead of fight. The final message was sent through the Starbridge network, reaching every corner of the galaxy. We faced our trial by fire with the Zaxri. Now we invite you to join us in facing the void between realities. Together, we won't just survive. We'll rewrite the very laws of existence. 1,000 years after the Zaxri incident, humanity's message to the galaxy wasn't delivered through words or signals. Instead, they revealed their ultimate creation, the Cosmic Archive, an artificial constellation that showed all possible futures to any species who looked upon it. This is not just our story. The human consciousness spoke through the living stars. This is the story of choice. The constellation shifted, showing countless timelines. In one, the Zaxri had chosen peace from the start, becoming pioneers of art and healing. In another, they had helped humanity prepare for the approaching void. Each possibility glowed like a jewel in space's dark canvas. But humanity's greatest revelation wasn't their power. It was their final gift to the galaxy. We call it the Evolution Gate, announced the human collective consciousness. The massive structure appeared near Earth's sun, a ring of pure possibility made from what humans called dream matter, material that could turn thoughts into reality. Through the Evolution Gate, species could see their own potential, not just technological advancement, but spiritual and conscious evolution. The gate showed the Zaxri what they could become, beings of pure compassion who could heal broken worlds with a thought. Then humanity revealed why they had been so prepared for war while hoping for peace. The approaching void wasn't just a threat, it was an opportunity. Watch, the human consciousness directed, as they activated the universe seeds they had planted throughout the galaxy. Every star touched by the harmony grid began to pulse in sequence. The Starbridge network lit up like neural pathways in a cosmic brain. The Genesis rings spun faster, creating pocket universes that would serve as lifeboats against the void. But the true miracle was what happened next. We didn't build weapons, humanity explained. We built transcendence engines. The combined energy of every peaceful civilization, channeled through the harmony grid, began transforming the approaching void. Instead of destroying reality, the void became a canvas for creation. Every species that had chosen peace could now help write the laws of a new universe. The former Zaxri, now evolved into beings of pure empathy, used their transformed consciousness to heal quantum scars in spacetime. Their former weapons had become tools for nurturing new forms of life. Through the evolution gate, all species could see the final truth. Humanity's greatest power wasn't their technology, their preparedness, or even their mastery over reality. It was their ability to imagine better futures and make them real. The void arrives not as our end, the human consciousness broadcasted, but as our beginning. Every species that chose peace will help birth a new reality, one where war is not just impossible, but unimaginable. The galaxy watched in awe as the evolution gate began its final transformation. It wasn't just showing possible futures anymore. It was helping every species achieve their highest potential. The last transmission ever sent through conventional means echoed across space. To any species still watching from the shadows, still wondering if conquest is worth attempting, look up. The stars themselves now sing with the music of unified consciousness. Every light in the sky is a reminder. Peace isn't weakness. It's the power to rewrite reality itself. As the void approached, transformed by the combined will of peaceful civilizations, the galaxy witnessed humanity's ultimate victory. They had turned an apocalypse into an ascension. The cosmic archive would forever show this moment, not as the time humanity proved their strength through war, but as the moment they proved their wisdom by turning enemies into creators, turning fear into hope, and turning an ending into an infinite new beginning.